Crimson Cliffs High School to face off against the Mustangs. Caden Formaster here and Ben Lindquist on our Boulevard home game here on the Fan Sports Network. Ben, I'm excited about this one. This is my first time seeing Crimson Cliffs live and in person, so that'll be a little fun treat for me. But you know what? You've seen them a bit so far. What can we expect from the Mustangs a little bit?
Well, first of all, it's a great environment for high school basketball. We're going to have a great crowd. You know, there's a lot of rivalries in Region 10. It's kind of a unique environment because you get these two rivals pretty much every night that we cover a game. There's some fan bases that either pulled from another fan base, a new school that used to go to that school, and so it should be a great environment. Second of all, you're going to see a lot, Crimson on the football field just played in the state championship a couple of months ago, and they've got a lot of football players that are on the basketball team, and so you'll see a lot of physicality. They never really get out of a game, and they play great defense.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. There's a lot of solid talent on that team, a lot of athleticism that we'll see there. You mentioned the rivalries here in Region 10, and every school, it seems like, has some connection to another. In this case, these two have border lines with each other. Crimson and Pineview. You have a lot of kids that have gone from Desert Hills and Pineview to make up what is now Crimson, and it's still fresh enough on everyone's minds here that that builds a little bit of a rivalry amongst these teams.
Yeah, and this should be a good game. I think Pineview's been in a couple close ones. They lose a 1-point game up in Cedar, and one thing they also do well, similar to Crimson, is they play really hard. They play great defense. I think you'll probably see some zone. You'll see some man out of them, probably some pressing, and they'll just play hard. They probably don't quite have the athletes that a couple of the other schools have, but they've got a lot of heart.
Absolutely. Well, here in the pregame show brought to you by Findlay Subaru, we hop into our Findlay Subaru keys to the game. Now remember, Findlay Subaru works hard to be active in the community. They've received the 2022 Subaru Love Promise Customer and Community Commitment Award. Now you can go reserve your new Subaru at Findlay Subaru. Starting off with the visiting Pineview Panthers. Keys to the game here, Ben.
Yeah, and then for Pineview, like we mentioned, that Cedar game, that 1-point loss, they've got to play all 4 quarters. They've got to stay in the game and make sure that they don't let Crimson pull away. And then they really have to take advantage of open shots. They've got a couple of shooters in Nash and Griffin that they'll make you pay if you leave them too open, but who's going to be the third guy that steps up and knocks down that other shot? And then, like every other key to the game for anybody facing Crimson, is you got to keep Jordan Eaton contained, because you can't let him go get 25 or 30. He will make you pay.
He will. And one thing I saw from Pineview when they faced off against Snow Canyon the other night was they did a really good job in that first half of holding up their defense, not letting Snow Canyon score a lot. And we know that's a team that can score.
Yeah, again, this is a team that has a lot of heart. Ryan, he's been a great coach in the region for a lot of years. Boy, I think he's probably 15 years as a region coach. If not, he's getting really close. And so he's a guy that, he's seen over the years. He's had athletes, he's not had athletes, he's had players, not had players. And so as a coach, you have to kind of evolve a little bit and be able to really find some of those nitty-gritty missing details to stay in games and find a way to scheme. And I think you'll see the Pineview staff do a good job of that tonight.
I think so too. Yeah, again, they just got to play a full game, all 4 quarters. He can't get tired, right? And that's one thing that can be tough to do, right, when you're going hard, and especially with an aggressive team like Crimson.
Well, we talked about this in our production meeting. This is, it's a team that's not quite as deep as Crimson is. They apply a lot of guys that play a lot of JV minutes, and they're the first options off the bench. So this is a team that fatigue could be a factor late in the game, that third quarter, fourth quarter, and I think we saw that against Cedar in that 1-point loss that Pineview suffered.
Now Crimson Cliffs Mustangs, our Findlay Subaru keys to the game over there for the Mustangs. What are we looking for here?
Well, I've had a chance to cover quite a few of the Crimson games, and one of the things that they kind of tend to struggle with a little bit, and sometimes it's only a couple of minutes and sometimes it can be extended, is they need to find a way to start fast. And some of that has been an impact on turnovers, and some of it's missed shots. And so, I think if they can get off to a little better start, they'll start to find out and find an identity as a team. And then you talk about, getting that third guy. Jordan Eaton's going to be there, but can they get a little bit more from Phoenix? Is it Scoop that they need to look for some buckets from? Is it Sean coming off the bench that they get 8 to 10 points, Sean Feltz? And so, I think everybody knows that Jordan's going to go out and get his 19 to 22. He's going to knock down shots. He's going to get his rebounds. It's who is the next guy? Is it Houston Johnson, who had a couple of great moves in the last game that against Desert Hills? Boy, he had a couple spin moves, pirouettes, and finishes. And so for me, it's who's going to be that second or third guy. And then, of course, we talk about people trying to shut down Jordan Eaton. For Pineview, it's can you shut down Schroeder? Can you shut down Griffin? Shepard, sorry, Griffin's his first name.
Yeah, Griffin Shepard. Yep.
I call him by their first name. Nash is his first name, and so we know those two can fill it up. I think they're a couple of the especially in Nash. Schroeder, his dad was a college basketball player, coaches the college game currently. He's a guy that can fill it up, and so for Crimson they got to make sure and contain those guys and not let them go out and each get a couple, 18 to 25 in that range could be damaging.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to this game tonight. Again, those keys to the game brought to you by Findlay Subaru. Appreciate you joining us here on our Boulevard Home Game of the Week. And excited for this region matchup. We're still in the beginning half of region play. All these teams yet to play each other that first time around, and then we'll come back around to it here in just a few weeks, really. So on that beginning half, it's kind of fun to see because these guys haven't played against each other yet. That second half, you start to see some of those adjustments come into play and say, we know who these guys are. We've played against them once before. We're not there yet. Even though this is a region matchup, we're still in new territory right here, and that makes this part of region play really fun.
Well, it's a critical game for both teams for different reasons. You've got Crimson, who's 3-1, and this is a chance to kind of go in almost to the halfway mark at 4-1, and then you have Pineview, who you're talking down at the bottom of the region a little bit right now, and they need to get a couple of wins to make sure that they can get a decent draw for that state tournament.
Yeah. And they've had a few chances. They had a 1-point loss to Cedar recently, just on Friday night. So they're right there. They can smell it. They just got to go and get it. So we're getting close.
For a good game. I think this should be a solid Region 10 battle. We've seen some good ones, and I think this will be another.
Absolutely. We're going to pause for the national anthem, and when we come back, it is our House of Jumps starting lineups. So stick around with us here on the Fan Sports Network.
Utah is growing, and we're growing too. What started on the U of U campus has grown to over 110,000 members with 20 locations, and we're ready to meet even more of you. More than a campus or a branch, we are Utah's teachers, businesses, and families. For over 65 years, we've been part of your community, and while our name is changing, our commitment to you is not. University Credit Union is now You First Credit Union. See why it's getting even better here. Welcome to You First.
First Ace Hardware is conveniently located in St. George on the corner of Bluff Street and St. George Boulevard with 30,000 square feet of lawn and garden, paint, tools, fabrics, sporting goods, and the most complete nut and bolt section in town. First General Store, the Big Ace store on Bluff and on Main in Cedar City.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Got a project at work or around the house? Well, think Bucks Ace Hardware. Think Bucks for all the top brands like DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Stihl. Plus, Bucks has the best sporting goods department. You've got to see their gun department. It's stocked with a great selection of guns and ammo and accessories. 2 locations at the Dino Crossing in St. George or State Street in Hurricane.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Fabulous Freddy's is the locals' choice for a full-service car wash. It's fast. Have your car washed in just 20 minutes or less. Fabulous Freddy's always keeps it clean inside and out with 2 Southern Utah locations as well as in Vegas, Lehigh, and Sandy.
Create your own relaxing, comfortable space. Boulevard Home offers the guaranteed best prices on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. And buy with no interest financing. Shop Boulevard Home, because home is who we are.
Hey, it's Luke with Udine Associates at American Family Insurance. At Udine Associates, we love insurance so you don't have to. With a quick call, we can get you an instant quote with the right coverages. My team of licensed agents are ready to help you with better insurance from American Family. Give us a call at 435-251-9102.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
Region 10 Sports is brought to you by Nets on Fire, the premier training and event facility in Southern Utah. High-level individual and group training catered to your athlete, plus the best camps, clinics, tournaments, and showcases in the West. Visit netsonfire.org. We welcome you back into Crimson Cliffs High School as the color guard removes the colors from the floor, and we get ready to start this game here between the Pineview Panthers and the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs. Beautiful national anthem by one of Crimson Cliffs' very own.
Yeah, I love that they get the students involved and giving them those opportunities to perform in front of a big crowd. And she did a great job. We had one last week, that Desert Hills game. It was like, I mean, crowd went nuts. It was great.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts, and one of my favorite things with Region 10 is there's a lot of student involvement. Yes, everyone has their own little feel to how they do the entrances to the games, right? Part of that is the national anthem. Another part of it, starting lineups coming up. So I'm curious to see how Crimson Cliffs does it. I haven't been around this season for a good Crimson Cliffs starting lineup, so it'll be fun.
I don't know if it's as good as Snow Canyons where they get
get the jungle going. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
They do a cool little thing with the light here. It'll be a great one.
Dixie has their they have a little promo video rolling as well.
Okay.
That's pretty fun. So little changes going on in the starting lineup from the last time I saw him. Looks like Camden Smith's going to get the start over Timothy Long, but we also have Canyon Dickinson, Weston Watkins, Nash Schroeder, and Griffin Shepard as your starters tonight for the Pineview Panthers.
And kind of interesting, Camden started and played a big chunk of the JV game, so not sure if maybe there was an injury there.
Yeah, as a junior, though, he's getting the start, so it'll be good for him. Now for Crimson Cliffs Mustangs, the home team tonight.
Oh, we got some lasers here. I take that back. Okay,
you got some lights.
We got the laser
show. A little bit of a light
going
show.
here.
We got some lights down here on the floor. I like that.
Okay.
So the starting lineups for Crimson Cliffs: number 2, Scoop Johnson; number 10, Jordan Eaton; number 11, Phoenix McWillis; number 13, Still Barban; and number 31, Houston Johnson. Your starting lineup for the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs, hosting tonight against the Pineview Panthers. Getting ready for our tip-off, brought to you by Udy and Associates, your local American Family Insurance agency here in St. George. We appreciate you joining us for the Findlay Subaru pregame show as well. Now remember, tonight we're looking for a couple things, Ben. Number 1, we're looking for dunks. If we get any dunks,
I love it.
You can text the word dunk for an hour of free jump time at House of Jump. We'll let you know when it happens, and we'll give you that number, so stick around for that. But of course, we're looking for player of the game, defensive player of the game, defensive player of the game, and more. Who's our sub of the game? All of those things coming up.
Whoa, and Katie, you forgot one of my favorite things. The Holbrook Asphalt big score.
The big score.
We got to get 55. Yeah, that way we're heading to get some yogurt land or after the game. That's one of the highlights. What a great sponsor of high school sports, Holbrook Asphalt. They've been doing that for a lot of years and feeding the bellies of parents and kids everywhere after games.
Well, of course, Crimson Cliffs starts with the jump ball going their direction. Houston Johnson with the offensive rebound. Kick out, Barban off the back of the rim, no good. Tipped around, rebounded by Eaton. Eaton on the triple team gets fouled.
Well, it looks like maybe Pineview came out in a little bit of a zone, and one of the hardest things in a zone, Caden, as we both know this, is rebounding. And so the physicality of Crimson, I think this plays well to them.
Inbound to Barbin. Up top to Mick Willis. Back down low. Johnson against the junior Camden, and it's in for 2.
And it looks like they were really trying to key in there on Houston and let him kind of get the ball on the low block there. And I think that's a huge advantage for Crimson, is to have that matchup there. I think the footwork of Johnson versus Smith is going to be a little bit of a mismatch.
Smith, hands off. Dickinson over to Schroeder. Back to Watkins. Back up top, Smith. Smith to Dickinson. Dickinson has to get it off to Shepard. Schroeder takes it inside the lane, goes up against Johnson, off the glass and in.
And, you know, one of the things that Crimson tries to do is force baseline, and Coach Fairborn's probably not too happy to get Nash going right out of the gate, going into the middle of the paint.
Elbow jump shot from Jordan Eaton. It's good.
That's the sweet spot for Jordan Eaton. It doesn't take much for him in terms of space to get that thing off. And right at that junction, extended is pretty much his home plate.
Schroeder drives in, pulls back out, kicks out to Shepard. Shepard tipped away, gets it to Smith. Off to the corner. Dickinson drives baseline, floats it up, off the glass, no good. He is fouled.
Looked like a little bit of just a late rotation. Again, trying to drive everything to the baseline on defense, and that key is that other guy on the weak side to rotate over quickly.
Foul goes against Still Barbin. And Canyon Dickinson will go to the line to shoot 2 of our Fabulous Freddy's free throws.
I'll tell you what, Caden, you missed Crimson Hurricane. I don't know if I've ever seen that many fouls called in a high school basketball in my life in regulation. I swear there was 50 or 60 foul calls. Every one of the other games that I was watching, we were sending our group chat for scores. They were all ended for 30 minutes before ours ended.
I will say, in the game that I was in, it was a pretty clean game. I don't think we even saw the bonus. We didn't see any bonus in the first half, and saw the bonus later in the second, quite late too. Barbin on the left wing goes up top. Johnson.
Looks like they're going to try and get this into Houston again. Get down to Jordan.
Jordan with a little floater from little step back.
And if you're Houston right now, you're licking your chops a little bit, going, okay, man, I just need to get the ball inside, and I'm going to have a chance to go up and over.
Pineview going the other direction with it. Canyon Dickinson over to Shepard. Shepard up top. It's Schroeder. Schroeder takes a step in, steps back, pulls the 3, no good. It was close. Johnson with the rebound, taking it the other way quickly. The Mustangs kicked out. Barbin step inside the 3, and it's good.
And that's a great pass. Court vision, excellent. Whips it over. That's a wide open shot. So far, Crimson has gotten some great looks.
Dickinson over to Schroeder. Schroeder picked up by Barbin, into the corner to Shepard. Shepard behind the back, tries to drive in on Eaton. Bounce off the leg. It's going to be Crimson Cliffs basketball.
And you can see just what a defensive animal Jordan Eaton is. I mean, he's got such quick feet. He's got legs that look like tree trunks, and yet he's so fast. And so, he seems like a guy that takes as a challenge, guarding one of the other team's best players. And right there, he just makes a great heads-up play, swipes it off the other team's knee, and that's Crimson ball.
Johnson goes up top. Barbin. Barbin puts the ball on the ground.
Caden, looks like they've come out of that zone into a little bit of a man matchup. I think we'll see that back and forth from Pineview a couple of times.
Foul line jumper. No good by Eaton, rebounded.
And you see him there. He can't believe he missed it. He looked over like, oh, they're going to give me those all night.
Timothy Long has checked into the game for Camden Smith. Long into the corner to Dickinson. Dickinson drives baseline, double team, pulls back out. It's a 3, and it's good from Weston Watkins.
So far, I think if you're Pineview, you're feeling pretty good about things. You're certainly getting good shots. Crimson, I think, right now is getting good shots, too. Shots they usually make.
And the ball stolen by Pineview. Schroeder tries to get Mick Willis to move. Back up top, Watkins. Crosses to Long now, Dickinson. Dickinson nearly losing it, but the foul call is going to come against Scoop Johnson, his first.
so far so good. I mean, Kate, I think this is what we were hoping for. Close game, 7-6, Pineview. Good crowd tonight. Looks like we've got jersey night in the student section. That's always a fan favorite.
It's good when the students show up and they show up in theme. Griffin Shepard wanted to pull that three. It's tipped away, rolls out of bounds, and it will be Mustang ball.
A couple early turnovers for both teams so far. I think that's, in these high school games where they're only those 32 minutes, I think you really want to try and keep them to single digits, especially when you're talking about, we had a game last week that was 44 what? 42-41?
42-41.
When you talk about, having double-digit turnovers in games like that, they're just not long enough games to make up for those. And so certainly both coaches tonight want to see the turnovers limited.
Devin Williams checks into the game for Canyon Dixon, who picks up 2 quick fouls here in the first quarter. Jordan Eaton backs up against Griffin Shepard, floats it up with the left hand, and it's good.
Look, Crimson has got to go into the low block, and it's just such an advantage for them. And I think every time if somebody catches it with a foot in the paint, you just keep going. One of the few times I say don't kick it out, just keep going.
Yeah, offensive rebound by Schroeder. He backs up Barbin, spins on him, puts up the mid-range, off the front of the rim, no good, and a foul comes on the ground. It's going to go against Pineview.
Kind of an interesting game so far. Doesn't feel like either team has really come out and established anything. Pineview starts in that zone early and gets into a man now.
Trevor Taylor checks in as well for the Mustangs. Mick Willis up on the right wing, up top Johnson. Johnson drives in on Long, kicks over to Eaton. Eaton puts the ball on the ground, tries to go baseline, is double teamed, has to kick out. Mick Willis. Long two, no good. Rebounded Johnson. Johnson takes it back up top, tipped away. Watkins tips it, Long picks it up, and the Pineview Panthers going the other way with it. Nash Schroeder on the right side, goes up top to Long. It's Williams driving in, kicks out. Shepard behind the back, losing control of it. Still under control now by the Mustangs, pull it up. And an offensive foul on Phoenix McWillis.
And Caden really right now just a little bit too sloppy for any team to really create some momentum. And you can see Coach Fairborn's going, okay, let's try the bench a little bit. Let's see if we can get some energy off of that. But just not very crisp so far. But these high school basketball games, these region games, every one of them's tough. It's hard to come out perfect every night.
Jace Sweeten and Sean Feltz come into the game. Schroeder backs up, kicks out to Long. Long in possession of it, drives down low, kicks out. Williams up top, Schroeder. He drives off the glass, not there. Charge is the call. It'll go the other direction.
And it looks like Coach Eves is going to get that first timeout. Probably just to talk to the guys a little bit. Look, probably saying right now, hey, guys, we're not out of this thing. This is right where we want to be. It's a one-point ball game. Clean it up, and let's see where we can go.
With this timeout, we'll take a quick 30 seconds ourselves. We'll be back after this here on the Fan Sports Network.
Asphalt. It's not something we think about much, except when it's in bad shape. At Holbrook Asphalt, we help cities, HOAs, and businesses avoid replacing painfully expensive roads and parking lots. To avoid the cost of replacing asphalt, you must effectively preserve it while it's still in good condition. University research has shown Holbrook Asphalt's HA5 slows asphalt aging by 67%. We make your pavement assets last longer, cost less to own, all while achieving higher property values. Visit HolbrookAsphalt.com to discover more.
Back out of that Cache Valley Bank timeout. Cache Valley Bank is your financial outfitter. Cache Valley Bank, mountains await. Mustangs in control of it. Scoop Johnson bringing it across the timeline. Shot clock so far has not been a factor through the first bit of the first quarter. That shot goes up from Taylor, not there.
I like the draw out of the timeout, little isolation, put an athlete like Trevor Taylor on the block against a smaller, undersized player there. I think Trevor's probably kicking himself thinking, man, I just had to slow down and finish that. But great call out of the timeout. and then you throw on a little press. So this will be interesting. Well, maybe not. Maybe a little full court pickup instead.
Williams brings it across. Gets it over to Schroeder. Schroeder back to Shepard for the three. It's good. Griffin Shepard drops in a U First Credit Union three-pointer.
He's a guy just got a sweet stroke, and certainly if you give him an inch, he will take advantage.
Up top with it, Feltz kicks it over to Johnson. Johnson brings it back up top. Now Eaton gets it low to Feltz. Feltz turns with it off the front of the rim. Shooter's touch. It goes.
Pretty easy for him with that much of a size advantage. And he does have a soft touch. Not the most fundamentally sound shot, but boy, he somehow finds a place to put some touch on it.
Shepard gets it to Williams, who drives, kicks out long.
Caden, I like that. I like a guy who says, I'm not quite the best three-point shooter. I know I had a chance to shoot that, but let's get it to one of the other guys like Nash or Griffin Shepard, who's a knockdown guy.
Smart basketball. Another turnover off of a travel, and it is Mustang ball.
Looks like we've got Adam Moore off the bench, one of the highest scoring JV players for Pineview. He's another guy that if you give him a little bit of space, he's probably going to knock it down.
Down low. Sweeten drives in, spins, shot goes up, no good, but a foul.
Adam Moore, 24. He's kind of got hair like you probably had in high school, Caden. Maybe Dusty had hair. He probably had hair like that. A little bit of a bleach.
Maybe.
You know.
Nah, I never bleached my hair, but my brother did.
Oh.
And after watching that, I never made that mistake.
You were like, not for me.
It's like, nope,
not for
I'm
me.
good. Granted, I was blonde. Had I bleached it, it wouldn't have really done all that much.
Yeah, there you go.
My brother had brown hair, you know. It's a little different for him. First of the Fabulous Freddy's free throws is good from Sweeten. Up on the Wilkeson's House Lighting scoreboard, it's 11-10. Crimson Cliffs with the slight lead. 36 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Second of the free throws is also good.
Okay, kind of a strange game so far. No team has really established anything other than Crimson with the inside force. Turnover still a factor for both teams.
Williams brings it up top over to Shepard. Shepard drives with it, goes off the glass to the left hand, no good. Rebound Eaton.
This is where Crimson's really good. When they get a rebound and they're able to get out in transition, they usually create something pretty nice.
Feltz puts up the shot from the edge, no good. It's rebounded by Shepard and Pineview. 3 seconds left. Half court heave. Just off the mark, a little shy, and that brings up the end of the first quarter, 12-10. We will take a break, and when we come back, second quarter here from Crimson Cliffs High School.
I'm Aaron Crane, host of the Region 10 Recap. Want to relive the highlights of the game? Look for the Region 10 Recap every week. Just follow St. George News on Facebook or go to stgeorgenews.com.
When it comes to your child's teeth, Dr. Cody and his experienced staff at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry are game changers. So when it comes to checkups, a toothache, or any problem with your kid's teeth, call experienced veteran Dr. Cody Johnson at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry, 628-0511.
We are Utah's financial outfitter, and we're here when it's time for your business to climb higher. Cache Valley Bank, mountains await. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Somebody told him.
Welcome back to Crimson Cliffs High School. It's the second quarter. As we head into the second quarter, I want to thank our sponsor, Jason Baum with Bay Equity Home Loans. He's your guy for loans here in Southern Utah. You can find him at baumloans.com. That's BAUM loans.com.
Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad.
What a great guy, by the way.
Yeah, we had him on the show today to talk some high school wrestling as well. So that was fun.
He knows his wrestling.
Crimson in control of it. It's Taylor in the corner, down low, Feltz.
Caden, looks like Pineview's back into that zone. Again, I think they're going to mix it up a little bit and just see what can kind of stick. Key to get it inside. That's one where you just got to drop it down to the big fella, let him drop step and get our dunk of the game.
Taylor drives, hands off, spinning up with it, is Sweeten, and it goes.
Crimson, you can tell, obviously it's been talked about. We've got to go inside. And if you keep getting quality looks like that, I can see why.
Shepard on the left wing goes up top to Schroeder. Schroeder step inside, 2, and it's good. Nash Schroeder with another bucket.
A great play there. Runs him off of the weak side, off of a double. All he has to do is catch and create. And for a guy like that,
Felt stuffed by the rim. We nearly had that dunk there, Ben, but
he had
Feltz
a couple in the JV game just like that, where it was just like a half inch from being a flush.
Just had to get off the ground a little bit more. Into the corner is Watkins. He brings it back up top to Long. Long hands off to Schroeder. Schroeder thought about the three.
I like that. I like a guy that goes, I'm not quite set. I'll get it the next time.
Watkins drives inside. It's a kick out 3. It's good by Adam Moore.
One of those shooters, I think, he's only a sophomore. He's only going to get better. And again, this Pineview team, if you give them open looks, they've got 2 or 3 shooters that will knock them down.
Under the edge is Taylor, down low to Feltz. Kicks out. Tap pass to Eaton. Into the middle now. Back out Taylor. Feltz wide open baseline. It's good.
Great shot there from Phelps. I like the patience of Crimson. This is about as much ball rotation as we've seen, where they just go, okay, look, we've got an advantage inside. Let's wait till the right shot comes available.
Yeah, take advantage of that zone defense from Pineview while you can. Spread the floor and quick moving passes. It's worked for him a few times now down the court. Griffin Shepard hands off to Moore. Moore up top to Long. Long nearly losing it there. Gets it over to Watkins. Watkins takes a step inside, drives out, kick. Schroeder, 3, no good. It's tipped by Feltz. It will stay down with Pineview.
And you can see Nash wants that one back. He goes, oh, if I could have just got it on the seams, a little bit of a rush shot. So far, great game. I think you've seen the inside domination of Crimson versus a little bit of the outside shooting prowess of Pineview.
Watkins gets the ball tapped away by Taylor. Keeps in possession of it. It's Schroeder on a step back. Turnaround jumper. Good.
He's got a great first step for just a junior. He gets down. He's got great footwork of turning around. He gets it right in the pocket. A great turnaround jumper.
Taylor goes up to McWillis, who checks back in. And Johnson down low. Spins. Push shot. No good off the front of the rim. Not enough juice on that one for Houston Johnson.
Great footwork. And I think that's one of those shots that probably you give him enough of those, he's going to make them.
Stolen away by the Mustangs. Going quickly with it to the other side is McWillis, who loses it to Long. Timothy Long gets it off to Nash Schroeder, and Pineview Panthers will reset.
Okay, and this is what's missing from high school basketball, in my opinion, is a guy comes down, it's more 1-on-3 as opposed to a mismatch. Come up, jump stop, look for the guy trailing down on the wing, find the open guy. Sometimes we just too much spin moves, too much rushing, too much 1-foot jumps.
Yeah. Now this is something that we're going to see more of this year as we have the shot clock. 10-second violation. The official doesn't have to keep track of it and guess at how long 10 seconds is. He looks at the clock, sees that it's past that 25 mark, and Pineview doesn't get across in time.
Yeah,
10-second call.
That was a crazy one. The first one I've seen this year. Especially in high school basketball, and I think this is going to be a year,
and especially when it's not a full court press.
Yeah, I think that was an orthodox one.
Phoenix McWillis drives baseline, gets the shot.
That's where Phoenix is really his best, is just that physical athleticism on display. So athletic, he can finish up above the rim, and you don't want him to get hot either, because he's a real emotional rhythm style player.
Adam Moore goes up top with it. Camden Smith hands off to Watkins. Watkins now to Shepard. Shepard picked up by Sweeten. Down to Smith. Smith goes baseline. It's a kick out and throws it out of bounds. He had some power on that pass, but it was a little off the mark.
Yeah, just got sped up a little bit. Actually, great defense. I mean, I think that's one where, when you're trying to force it baseline, that's what you want to force, is that difficult pass.
By the way, that pass hit one of our coworkers down there, Monica, who's getting ready to shoot for cash at halftime. Of all people, huh?
Poor Monica. She's an athlete, though. I kind of thought she'd catch that and let it fly.
I know. Phoenix McWillis, open three, no good. And a foul will come against Pineview. That goes against Camden Smith. It's his first.
This is where Pineview's really going to struggle, is just from a size and athleticism standpoint. And yet somehow, with their shooting and quality play, they've managed to stay in the game.
It's stolen away by Moore, but he steps out of bounds. It will be Mustang ball again.
Great game so far, Caden. I think a little bit of what we were hoping for, maybe not expected, but so far so good.
Johnson goes up strong with it. He's fouled and one.
And Houston, maybe, of all the games that I've covered so far this year and have seen, maybe the most determined out of the gate that I've seen him. You can see that he's going, okay, look, if I get a foot in the paint, I'm going to go up. Being a really good defender, but now he's got two. He's headed to the bench with just 2 minutes left in a 2-point game. And so far, we talked about that foul fest out in the Tigers' den out in Hurricane last week. But so far, we're almost just into the halftime here with only 12 fouls called. And only one team in the bonus.
That's right.
Which I like. I like the...
Stolen away by Schroeder. Goes up strong. Mick Willis with the block. Quickly on the other end, it's Eaton spinning on Smith, and it goes.
A 4-point swing there, and I'll tell you, this is where Phoenix is really fun to watch, is he's got great hands, and he's got quick feet, and so he gets a lot of blocks, including the game-saving block that Devin and I had to call last week, and we were actually wrong. Based on here, it looked like it was going up.
Ooh, Griffin Shepard hitting the U First Credit Union 3-pointer.
So I owe Phoenix an apology, because from this angle, it looked like it was still going up, but it turns out it was a clean block, and that saved the game against Desert Hills.
In the corner, McWillis kicks out Johnson. He pulls the three. Houston Johnson.
He looks totally different tonight, and it looks like he just was locked in. And sometimes as a kid, we got to remember these guys are high school kids, and it's easy to get, distracted or not focused, but he is laser sharp tonight.
Griffin Shepard, a little bump against McWillis, creates some space and floats it in for two.
And Pineview will jump into a press here on a made bucket, is what it looks like.
Jordan Eaton, wide open three, no good. Tipped, rebound Johnson. They're going to give him an over-the-back call.
Interesting call. I think that's sometimes picking on the big guy. Looked like he was actually up and got hit himself. You'd think with 3 refs, they'd never get it wrong, but they're human too.
It happens.
And look, with 46 seconds left in the second quarter, 25-23, Caden, I'm really surprised that it's as close as it is, but Pineview's kept themselves in it with 3-point shooting.
Down low is Shepard, spins on McWillis, gets him off his feet, and it's in. We got ourselves a tied ball game here, Ben.
Great game so far. That press will come out here, Pineview, to see if they can make a little something happen.
It's Jordan Eaton, scoop shot, and in for 2.
Well, and Coach Eves doesn't look too happy at that. I don't know if he's yelling at the ref or he's yelling at his own team, but I think he's wondering, come on, get back, guys. That's too easy.
Nash Schroeder, 7 seconds, pulls the 3, just off, no good. It is tipped. And Camden Smith with a
little bit of an early shot, but with 4 seconds left, I think for him, that's a green light.
Yeah. Baseball pass down to the other side of the court. Johnson picks it up, doesn't get the shot off in time. Wouldn't matter anyways. And the score here after the first half of play, 27-25. The Mustangs with the slight lead over the Panthers. Stick around. Coming up next, it's the Rally Stop halftime show. We'll break down what's going on here in the first half of play and look at scores from across Region 10. Stick around. Rally Stop halftime show coming up from Crimson Cliffs High School.
Utah is growing, and we're growing too. What started on the U of U campus has grown to over 110,000 members with 20 locations, and we're ready to meet even more of you. More than a campus or a branch, we are Utah's teachers, businesses, and families. For over 65 years, we've been part of your community, and while our name is changing, our commitment to you is not. University Credit Union is now You First Credit Union. See why it's getting even better here. Welcome to You First.
Got a project at work or around the house? Well, think Bucks Ace Hardware. Think Bucks for all the top brands like DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Still. Plus, Bucks has the best sporting goods department. You've got to see their gun department. It's stocked with a great selection of guns and ammo and accessories. 2 locations at the Dino Crossing in St. George or State Street in Hurricane.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Fabulous Freddy's is the locals' choice for a full-service car wash. It's fast. Have your car washed in just 20 minutes or less. Fabulous Freddy's always keeps it clean inside and out with 2 southern Utah locations as well as in Vegas, Lehigh, and Sandy.
Create your own relaxing, comfortable space. Boulevard Home offers the guaranteed best prices on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. And buy with no interest financing. Shop Boulevard Home, because home is who we are.
Hey, it's Luke with Udine Associates at American Family Insurance. At Udine Associates, we love insurance so you don't have to. With a quick call, we can get you an instant quote with the right coverages. My team of licensed agents are ready to help you with better insurance from American Family. Give us a call at 435-251-9102.
First Ace Hardware is conveniently located in St. George on the corner of Bluff Street and St. George Boulevard with 30,000 square feet of lawn and garden, paint, tools, fabrics, sporting goods, and the most complete nut and bolt section in town. First General Store, the Big Ace store on Bluff and on Main in Cedar City.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
Region 10 Sports is brought to you by Nets on Fire, the premier training and event facility in southern Utah. High-level individual and group training catered to your athlete, plus the best camps, clinics, tournaments, and showcases in the West. Visit netsonfire.org.
Asphalt. It's not something we think about much except when it's in bad shape. At Holbrook Asphalt, we help cities, HOAs, and businesses avoid replacing painfully expensive roads and parking lots. To avoid the cost of replacing asphalt, you must effectively preserve it while it's still in good condition. University research has shown Holbrook Asphalt's HA5 slows asphalt aging by 67%. We make your pavement assets last longer, cost less to own, all while achieving higher property values. Visit holbrookasphalt.com to discover more.
Welcome back to Crimson Cliffs High School. Mustangs up on top of the Panthers, 27-25. It's Caden Formaster here and Ben Lindquist on the broadcast with you tonight. Now, so far, Crimson Cliffs and Pineview, it's been a fairly even matchup. And I don't know if we were fully expecting it to be this close, but so far, it's been a decent game.
Yeah, a little bit hard to know what to expect as this is the first matchup between these two teams. But, look, Crimson's shot the ball inside the paint really well. They're not a great three-point shooting team, whereas Pineview, that's kind of how they stay in games. And I think so far what you've seen is kind of what we talked about in the pregame is athletically and size, Crimson has an advantage. Their defense is so tough. All season long they've played great team defense. And then down on the other end is, you got Nash, Schroeder, and you have Griffin Shepard, who have, I think kept them in the game with their 17 points combined.
Yeah, Griffin Shepard with 10 of those, Nash Schroeder with 7 of those. Outside of that, only a few other scorers. You have Canyon Dickinson with a basket. Weston Watkins hit that 3 in the first quarter. And Adam Moore has also he's got another 3 as well. But you look at Crimson Cliffs, the scoring's a little more spread out. Jordan Eaton with 8, Houston Johnson with 7. Following that, you have a few guys with 4, Jay Sweeten and Sean Feltz. They both have 4. Phoenix McWillis with a basket, and Still Barvin with a couple as well. So with that, you kind of spread out the love a little bit amongst the Mustangs. And that's kind of what we talked about a little bit, was get more guys scoring. And right now, there's not necessarily that third person. Right now, you got the 2, right? You got Jordan Eaton and Houston Johnson who have separated themselves a little bit. Who's that third guy going to be in the second half, right? And that's what I'm looking for from Crimson, to see who steps it up in the second.
Yeah, I think if you're Pineview, you go, okay, look, we got to have at least 17 more combined from Nash and Griffin Shepard. I think really for Pineview to have a chance, they're going to have to combine for probably 22 to 25 points to be able to win this game for Pineview. And if you're Crimson, they've done a great job of that first half of getting the ball inside. And I got to believe that Coach Fairborn is in there saying, we're getting good looks, we're getting good shots. Slow down just a hair, finish inside the paint, make them pay for being undersized in this matchup. And defensively, I think this plays, as much as Pineview is a little more undersized, I think this plays to Crimson style, and they just got to make a few more shots to pull away.
Right. I can definitely agree with that. Well, welcome in again, everybody, to our Rally Stop halftime show. And we want to remind you that Rally Stop is your place to refuel, whether that's gas or snacks. Doesn't matter. Head on over to Rally Stop.
44-ounce Diet Mountain Dew. Okay.
All of it. It's jerky. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Let's update some scores brought to you by Nets on Fire. Of course, our score here tonight, 27-25. The Mustangs with that slight lead over the Panthers. Crosstown halftime, Dixie is up on top of the Desert Hills Thunder, 46-33. Dixie's kind of pulled away a little bit on that one. And then Snow Canyon up as well over the Hurricane Tigers, 37-16. Halftime score over there.
I think both of those games are scores that we probably could have predicted within 5 or 6 points. Dixie is just such a tough matchup. From 1 through 6 or 7, those guys can just fill it up. And so that score doesn't surprise me too much. Snow Canyon, another team, I think they'll be one of those top 2 or 3 teams by the end of the region.
Absolutely. So there are your score updates. We will have more updates throughout the second half as well, so stick around for that. Now again, here, Crimson Cliffs, Pineview. Crimson with that slight lead. Pineview, one of the keys to the game for Pineview was making sure that they play all 4 quarters. And so far, they played a solid 2.
Yeah, they're 2 for 2.
They're 2 for 2. They need to stick it out through the rest of the game and make sure they don't get too tired, right? They don't run a huge rotation. They have 3 guys maybe coming off of the bench that get some decent minutes, so they just got to make sure that everyone stays fresh enough to go all the way through to the tail end of this one. And right now, with Nash Schroeder and Griffin Shepard, both of them have played quite well. I'd like to see one more guy get involved a little bit more in the scoring because right now they just haven't quite broken down that Crimson defense yet, right? I'd like to see from them maybe 30-something points and a half, and right now obviously we're only at 25 for the Panthers. But
and is that going to be Weston Watkins? Is that going to be Adam Moore off the bench? It's hard to say, but again, I really believe that Pineview is kind of what they are. They're going to need Schroeder and Shepard to probably get them 20 to 25 in the second half in order for them to have a chance, where Crimson has the luxury of they can have 2 or 3 guys that, you know, it could be different on every other night. And in this instance, you know, Houston has stepped up big in that first half. Sean Phelps has come off the bench. He's kind of instant offense for a big guy. He kind of comes in. I'll bet when you look at his per minute scoring, he's probably averaging quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true. He's seen the floor for too long, but when he gets in, he's been able to make shots. That size difference, though, matters a lot. And you're seeing that with Houston Johnson, right? Every time Houston Johnson gets the ball, I feel like he's saying to himself, it's my turn to be a little bit of a bully, right? I'm going to get down low and I'm going to push up against these guys because I'm bigger than they are. I'm taller than they are. I can get the shot over them. If I just get a good position, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, it looks like he understands. Oh, my goodness.
The shoot for Cash, it took him 20 seconds. He nailed every single one of those.
He got every one of them. Travis Murdoch, the freshman. That's Scott Murdoch, the JV coach and assistant varsity coach's son, and he's got a pretty shot. It's funny because when he went back to the half-court line, I watched him, I can't remember if it was at halftime of another game, shooting some half-quarters. He's got a great half-court shot.
He's got a good little flick of the wrist there.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
Great wrist action, great technique, great fundamental.
Especially for he's a tall kid too. So a taller kid with some good shooting technique, can't go wrong with that. But yeah, we love shoot for Cash here.
Okay, we got round 2. The ladies are out on there. And
she's rolling. She's got the half-court shot.
Oh, boy, Caden. We got in 2 tonight. It looks good. Oh my
just
goodness.
Off, but she gets her own rebound.
Okay, here we go. One more. Gentle push, mild arc.
Little high.
Long. I think she's got time for 2 more, Caden.
She's got time for a couple more.
Oh,
that's
a little deep. Usually you see it short.
Yeah.
Oh, this has a chance.
That's close. Oh, it was on.
Oh.
It was on.
Now she's tired. That's
I know.
That's a lot of half-court shots.
She made those first 3 real fast, though. That was quick. We love it.
You got to love it. I mean, this is what's so great about high school sports is the student participation. Yes, you've got the athletes, but it's the cheerleaders, it's the dancers, it's the student body, it's the band. We've had the band a couple of nights. It's what a great atmosphere for a community to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Ben, real quick, before we wrap up the Rally Stop halftime show, one of the things, again, we talked about that we're looking for is our Holbrook Asphalt Big Score dessert. It's 27-25. We're looking for 55.
We just need 30 from one of these teams, and we're headed to Yogurtland. Dusty and I are going to fill it up. Is it 4 or 5 ounces?
5 ounces free. Courtesy of Holbrook Asphalt. Just go in and ask for that Big Score dessert.
I heard they had to kick Devin Dixon out of there. He tried to get 6 ounces for free, and so it's you know,
he put it in 2 cups, though. You know.
That's right. That's right. He said my wife's in the car.
Yeah, one of those things. Come on. But here's the thing, though. It's as long as any Region 10 team scores 55 points.
That's right.
Now,
let's not forget that.
We got to remember, halftime scores across Region 10. We've got a few teams already in that 40 range, so I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
They're right up there. So we have Dixie at halftime with 46. Do you think they can get 9 more in the second half?
Yeah, I think they can probably figure out a way to get that. They're a pretty great offensive squad. But I think this is a game we'll see 55 from. I think this third quarter is going to be critical to see what adjustments were made. You know, is it Pineview saying, guys, let's limit the inside touches. We got to close out a little bit quicker. Is it Crimson saying, okay, let's turn it up and see if we can pull away in this first 3 or 4 minutes? You know, the turnovers, we talk about turnovers a lot with the Crimson team, but after that first kind of back and forth spurt, they dialed things in and limited some of those turnovers. So it'll be interesting to watch this third quarter.
Well, that's one thing for me. You just barely mentioned is turnovers. We saw some sloppy basketball in the first half. It did clean up later. If it can stay clean and everything can roll smoothly for at least one of these teams, that might be a factor. We talk about our Bose Auto Parts crucial part of the game. And sometimes those crucial parts come down to who has the fewest turnovers.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
something we'll be looking for here in the second half is our crucial part of the game. And with a game this close, we might find it earlier than later.
Yeah, absolutely, because momentum could turn at any moment. And I think one of the other things that Coach Eves and company are probably talking about at that halftime was, guys, we got to keep them off the glass. Too many offensive rebound and second chance opportunities is going to make it hard when you're already undersized. You know, if you're Crimson, you're saying keep crashing the glass, keep getting those inside looks, be patient. And it'll really, I think, be a story of who will break first in this style of game, and then I think we'll see some separation.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Now, let's take a break before we get into the second half of play and remind you that Rally Stop brings you this halftime show. Rally Stop is a proud sponsor of Region 10 Athletics. Stop by Rally Stop all across southern Utah, Washington, and Iron County. So 1 minute, we will be back for the second half of play here from Crimson Cliffs High School on the Fan Sports Network.
I'm Aaron Crane, host of the Region 10 Recap. Want to relive the highlights of the game? Look for the Region 10 Recap every week. Just follow St. George News on Facebook or go to stgeorgenews.com.
When it comes to your child's teeth, Dr. Cody and his experienced staff at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry are game changers. So when it comes to checkups, a toothache, or any problem with your kid's teeth, call experienced veteran Dr. Cody Johnson at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry, 628-0511.
We are Utah's financial outfitter, and we're here when it's time for your business to climb higher. Cache Valley Bank, mountains await. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Welcome back as we get ready for the second half of play here from Crimson Cliffs High School. The Mustangs on top 27-25.
Great first half of action. I think everything we hope for in a high school basketball game, certainly Region 10 every night. Most teams can beat the other.
Yeah.
And so, again, I really look here in the second half to see who establishes something here out of the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. Possession brought to you by Udine Associates, your local American family insurance agency here in St. George, goes to the Panthers. And Nash Schroeder, the handle on the ball, goes to Canyon Dickinson. Now it's Watkins looking for that pick from Smith, cross to Shepard. He'll take the three just off the mark, rebounded by the Panthers. Offensive board.
Maybe one of the first offensive rebounds.
You like to see it. You like to see it. Shepard on the right wing, spins, floats it up, and it's good. Griffin Shepard. It's the first points of the second half.
He makes it look really easy, and you can see no matter who's on him, he kind of licks his chops and goes, okay, if I see an opening, I'm going to take it.
It's Mick Willis down low to Johnson. Johnson kicks back out, touch pass to Barbin. Eaton on the edge, no good. It's rebounded by Smith. Again, Pineview in that zone defense. They kind of like that zone.
Yeah, I think, Crimson forced them out of it early in that first quarter, but they're back into it. I think it's probably their best chance based on the size.
Schroeder drives in, misses the mark. It's rebounded by the Mustangs. Johnson going quickly the other way. Scoops it off the glass and in.
Great finish. Way to look up the floor by Phoenix. Sees the open guy, bounces it once for Houston, and just up and under, and makes it look simple.
Watkins crosses to Dickinson. Dickinson into the corner. It's Shepard. Shepard brings it back up top. Schroeder, jab step drives. No, not there. Kicks back out. Dickinson up top. Smith.
And you can see Pineview always attacking, trying to get the ball in the paint.
Schroeder on the corner, back up top to Smith. Tries to get it down low. There's a foul on Jordan Eaton. Arms got a little bit tangled between Jordan Eaton and Griffin Shepard. And Eaton picks up his first foul.
A great matchup of two probably, first team all-region players right there.
Dickinson to inbound. Gets it to Schroeder. Schroeder. Nowhere to go with it. Double team. Goes off the glass with it. It's tipped up. Rebounded by Johnson. Scoop Johnson over to Eaton. Eaton back to Scoop. It's Eaton. Gets it down low. Mid-range not there on the 10-footer. It's picked up though. Johnson kicks out.
You can see the ball just kind of sticks just a little bit. And I think as this team goes later into the season, I think they'll find that the quicker they move the ball, the more open the teammate will be.
Jordan Eaton from the foul line, off the front of the rim, no good. Rebounded Dickinson.
And Jordan can't believe it. He's just shaking his head after every one of those. Those are the shots that he makes 60% of the time.
He's got a good mid-range. He's got a good 15-footer.
Great mid-range, yep. And I think if you're Crimson, you're saying those are the shots we would take.
Absolutely.
He's made them all year. And you got to believe, if you're as a basketball player, my thought was always, look, the next one's going in. Don't stop shooting them.
Yeah.
Maybe get an easier one next time, but don't stop shooting those.
Scoop on the drive, goes up strong with it. It's rebounded by Houston Johnson, who puts it back in for two.
And that's the play I'm talking about, Caden, where, yes, they got the rebound and were able to finish it, but come to a jump stop, you got the guy trailing on the left wing, and it's an easy shot for him. We're almost a charge there.
Yeah. Up top, Shepard. Hands off to Dickinson. Dickinson takes to the left side, goes baseline with it, kicks out Camden Smith, wide open three, not there. It's rebounded by Scoop, bringing it the other direction quickly over to Johnson. Houston Johnson drives baseline, hands off to Eaton, who goes up with the left hand and in.
Great pass. I love it because Houston could have he had made the one in the first half. Probably not a bad shot, but he was patient, dribbles baseline, finds the basket cut of Jordan Eaton for the easy layup inside the paint.
After a quick 6-0 run, Pineview takes a timeout, and we'll keep it right here to thank our sponsors, Cache Valley Bank, of course, our timeout sponsor. They are your financial outfitter, Cache Valley Bank, mountains await. Coming up in the Johnson Pediatrics postgame show, looking to hand out some of our awards. Jersey Mike, sub of the game. Who's coming off the bench? Who's doing big things?
I'll tell you what, every time I hear that, in fact, last week, the game that we did here with Dusty in the production truck and Devin against Desert Hills, they kept mentioning the Jersey Mike sub of the game, and I sped over there. Well, not sped. I went close.
You went at a reasonable pace, yeah.
And I got there at like 8:53, and I expected to kind of open it up and them say like, we're closing up in 7. And you know what? They said they heated everything back up. They took me in there. They got my family subs, and I had it Mike's way.
What's your go-to?
I get the number 7 club.
All right, that's a good one. That's a good choice.
They'll load it up with Mike's way, with the vinegar, the oil, the spices, the onions, the lettuce, the tomatoes. What are we doing? I'm out of here.
I got that Mike's Famous Philly.
I got that last week.
That's good.
I got that last week. Oh, well, I'll tell you what. This is a dangerous zone if you're Pineview, because, Caden, this is one of those instances where finally a team has shown some momentum. And so if they don't get a basket here and Crimson goes down and scores and makes it a 9 or 10-point game, Pineview could be in trouble.
Watkins drives baseline, picked up by Houston Johnson. Goes up top with it to Shepard. It's Dickinson across to Schroeder. Schroeder jab step, drives inside, spins, kicks out long. Into the corner, Watkins brings it back up top. Watkins tries to get it down low. It's stolen away by Phoenix. Quickly the other direction, off the glass, no good. Rebounded Long. Timothy Long gets in there and steals it away. Griffin Shepard quickly the other direction, off the glass, and a blocking foul is called against Steele Barman.
Pretty consistent on how they've called that. There's been a couple of those plays. If you ask any ref, the block charge call is the hardest call in basketball for an official. We talked last week in a couple of our broadcasts about, man, it would be nice to help these officials out and have a restricted area there. It just makes it a little easier for your eyeball to kind of look and see that line, and if they're over it, then it's a block, and if they're in it, then it's that charge.
Griffin Shepard makes the first end on the fabulous Freddy's free throws.
And it's one of the things I love about the state of Utah. Is, you talk about the shot clock. That's a great example of the state going, look, this is going to be better for the game. It's new. It's going to be an adjustment, but we're going to make it.
Quick transition by the Mustangs off the glass. No good. Rebounded by McWillis. It's still not there. Pineview finishing it off. The full court pressure almost got the best of the Panthers there. Nearly broke it down was the Mustangs. The Shepherd goes all the way with it.
The refs are letting them play, Caden.
And Long intercepts the pass.
That looks like a little bit of fatigue. I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Fairborn probably look down the bench and either get a timeout or get a couple fresh bodies in there. I still think Crimson's got the momentum at this point.
Griffin Shepherd, toe on the line, not there. And it's knocked out of bounds. It will be Crimson basketball.
Kind of sloppy there for just a second.
Little sloppy.
You know what, though? I look at the foul count, and I see 2-0. I don't think there's been any plays that you're just like, come on, ref. I like the idea of letting these guys play a little bit as opposed to having the whistle blow and guys going back and forth to free throw line shooting them.
Scoop Johnson brings it down, has an open lane, tries to drive with it, and is fouled by Nash Schroeder.
And that's a good example. That's one of those fouls that you go, yeah, both coaches are going to say, yes, that's a foul.
Check out the Holbrook asphalt replay on that. You can see Schroeder gets a little too much in his face, comes down with that arm, and Scoop Johnson goes to the line to shoot two. Speaking of Holbrook asphalt, an update from across town, Dixie and Desert Hills. It's a tight one, 58
54
to 54. We got the big score dessert. That's what matters.
Yeah, we sure do.
But a tight game, huh?
Minute left in the third. Looks like Desert Hills, and they have some shooting too that can allow them to get back into a basketball game.
Well, Scoop Johnson finally gets on the board as he hits a couple of fabulous Freddy's free throws. In the corner, it's Canyon Dickinson. Gets it down low to Timothy Long. Long bumping up against Eaton. Loses the ball, and it falls in the hands of Scoop.
I don't like many people's odds trying to go body to body with Jordan Eaton.
And Eaton returns the favor and gets a bucket off of it. And that's exactly why.
Yeah, it's like the kid is just so athletic. He's fearsome. I love the way he plays on the basketball court. He's not afraid of mixing it up.
Dickinson, long three, short, no good, rebounded by Nash Schroeder.
Maybe the second or third offensive rebound. Huge advantage for Crimson on the offensive glass.
Something we're seeing in the second half, though, from Pineview is a few offensive rebounds. We haven't seen that yet. Jordan Eaton picks up another foul, and Weston Watkins will on the receiving end of that one. Canyon Dickinson will inbound for the Panthers. Schroeder receives the inbound pass. Pick up by Taylor, who just checks in. Eaton on Shepherd, not there.
Just so hard to be able to get that momentum going towards the basket against a guy like Jordan Eaton. And this is one, Caden, where I'd like to see Crimson go inside, take advantage of their size a little bit, especially with the matchup that Pineview has on the floor.
Jordan Eaton off the glass. A little give and go there.
One of the great guys in the region at the basket cut. You know, when a guy comes to a jump stop, great fundamental, spins. All you got to do is basket cut from that weak side to have a great look.
Long spins on Johnson, off the glass, no good. It's rebounded by Scoop Johnson. Taking it the other way quickly, rolls it around and in. Scoop gets another for 4 points now. All of which in the third.
Yeah, and with a 12-point lead here, a good timeout by Coach Eves. I think this is, if you're in the huddle with Crimson, you say, this is where we pull away, guys.
Yeah. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout ourselves and be back on the other side here on the Fan Sports Network.
Utah is growing, and we're growing too. What started on the U of U campus has grown to over 110,000 members with 20 locations, and we're ready to meet even more of you. More than a campus or a branch, we are Utah's teachers, businesses, and families. For over 65 years, we've been part of your community, and while our name is changing, our commitment to you is not. University Credit Union is now You First Credit Union. See why it's getting even better here. Welcome to You First.
Welcome back. It's 41-29 on the Wilkinson's House of Lighting scoreboard, where Crimson Cliffs has the lead over the Pineview Panthers. In the third quarter so far, Crimson Cliffs with 14 and Pineview with only 4 being outscored pretty heavily to start the second half. Pineview has a lot of room to make up here with 1:10 left to play in the third. Pineview is set to inbound to Weston Watkins. Watkins inbounds to Canyon Dickinson. Dickinson gets the pick from Long, drives inside, kicks out. Watkins to Schroeder. Schroeder has an open lane, takes it, scoops up, no good. He had the path there, Ben.
He just couldn't quite get the spin out of the shot. And if this goes in,
not quite there for me. That could have been a dagger.
That could have been the momentum pull away moment. Maybe the big play.
Yeah. Our Bose Auto part, crucial part
play
of the game.
Yeah, that's right.
But again, the turnovers, a little bit of a thorn in Pineview's side. Inbounding is Trevor Taylor.
A little bit of that full court pressure now from Pineview.
Trying to get it across half court still. And they do just in time.
Yeah, almost saw 2 10-second calls in one game.
Eaton takes it to the baseline, spins, trying to find a pass. Still goes up with it. It's blocked by Griffin Shepard.
Probably trying to do just a little bit too much there. I think, you know, especially with this lineup.
It's stepping out of bounds.
Okay.
Griffin Shepard had a toe on the line. It'll go back to the Mustangs.
Yeah, I think the ref is saying, hey, it's Crimson ball, and Pineview there for a second thought it was his. You know, Griffin Shepard, I think, is saying, I think you missed the call.
Yeah, down low. Johnson, 3 off the mark. It's offensive boards by Eaton, and he goes up strong and gets fouled.
You look at the way they've called the game, though, and sometimes as a player, Caden, you got to make those adjustments. You got to realize, like, hey, look, they're not giving those knick-knack little soft fouls. So a play like that on the baseline where it's not quite there, you can't force it because they're not going to call those types of fouls. They haven't called them all game. I mean, we're sitting here with just a few seconds left in the third quarter as Jordan Eaton shoots the free throw, and it's 3-2 on the foul calls.
Right.
And so you, as a player, even as a coach, but more so as a player, because you're out on the court, right? So you have to be able to go, okay, they are letting us play. And on defense, you also can take advantage of that. You can go, okay, I'm gonna be a little more risky with the hands or the hip check.
Full court, half court heave as we head into the fourth quarter. 43-29, Crimson Cliffs on top after a huge third quarter run.
This is going to blow you away, Caden, but by my math, they outscored them 16.
I have 16-4.
To 4.
Yep, 16-4.
And I think this is where I think you've seen Pineview struggle, is that third quarter where they come out and they just, you mentioned it in the keys of the game and in our pre-production meeting, is that sometimes they just get fatigued and it almost looks like they're running out of steam in that second half.
Exactly. Quick 30 seconds. We'll take a break and come back with the fourth quarter here on the Fan Sports Network.
Fabulous Freddy's is the locals' choice for a full-service car wash. It's fast. Have your car washed in just 20 minutes or less. Fabulous Freddy's always keeps it clean inside and out with 2 Southern Utah locations as well as in Vegas, Lehigh, and Sandy.
Create your own relaxing, comfortable space. Boulevard Home offers the guaranteed best prices on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. And buy with no interest financing. Shop Boulevard Home, because home is who you are.
Crimson Cliffs on top, 43-29 on the Wilkinson's House of Lighting scoreboard as we head into the fourth quarter. I think Wilkinson's House of Lighting
You know, I mentioned how great our community is in terms of the high school and the student body and the administrators and all that. But I'll tell you what, these sponsors that make it possible for us to come to the games, to cover them with video and on air, and the things we're able to do for these student athletes now, it's pretty exceptional. It's made in part by these great sponsors.
Absolutely. Driving in, Scoop Johnson. Turnaround Jay not there. Rebounded by Schroeder.
If you're Pineview right now, you've got to get something going to stop this momentum.
Bodies collide.
Looks like Jordan will pick up his third foul, and he's not happy about it as he has a philosophical conversation with the official on a foul versus a no foul.
On the Holbrook asphalt replay, Jordan does go up pretty strong straight up, but the body contact was just a little too much for that official's liking. As Nash Schroeder nails the first of the Fabulous Freddy's free throws.
That'll be 3. You know, I talked about the foul fest over at the Tigers Den in Hurricane last week on Friday. Jordan Eaton fouled out in the third quarter. I don't know if I've seen that, and it was pretty crazy. I don't think it was mismanagement by a coach or anything like that. It was just they called everything.
Yeah.
If you breathed too heavily, they called a foul on you over in that game, and they were getting paid by the whistle.
Nash Schroeder with a deep U-First Credit Union 3-pointer. Wow.
Well, Pineview needed it. We talked about the anemic third quarter that they suffered, and this gives them a glimmer of hope.
They brought it back within 10.
Left. Yep.
Scoop Johnson.
Look for this high post action here. Looking to have a guy dive on that weak side.
Kick back out, Scoop. Hands off to Houston. Houston Johnson tries to go up strong with it. Finds lane. He gets the shot off, but it's no good.
He gathered as though he was going to punch that ticket.
Schroeder up top. Picked up by Johnson. Step back 3. He's feeling it.
Now you can see Coach E saying, get up, get into the press. Let's see if we can create some havoc.
And one, Houston Johnson, and he is playing angry.
Different player this game from start to finish, has been aggressive and attacking out of the gate all game long. And I think when you put him up against Smith there, he's going to have that advantage moving to his strong hand. See if he can knock down the free throw. But, you know, look, we said it at halftime. Nash Schroeder, Griffin Shepard are going to have to keep them in this game, and they're going to have 20-plus points combined in the second half to make it happen.
Schroeder picked up by Scoop Johnson. Tries to drive in. Scoop, I think, had a fingertip on that one to knock it away. Phoenix McWillis, hero step off the glass, no good. Offensive board and put back by Jordan Eaton.
We said in the first half, Crimson is at their very best when they get a rebound or a turnover and they get into transition. Good things usually happen for them there.
Schroeder goes baseline, off the glass, not there. It's rebounded by Houston Johnson. Gets it over to Taylor.
And I think, you know, Nash was looking for a call there, and it's just a call that hasn't been called all game. Again, we're 5:45 left in the fourth quarter, and it's 7 total team fouls.
Jordan Eaton off the offensive board, gets it to go and one. Jordan Eaton has hit that magical 20 mark now.
It's crazy because you look down and you go, how has he scored 20? Because it doesn't seem like he tries to take a game over. It doesn't seem like he's gunning. And he makes 20 probably as easy as it looks for a high school basketball player. He does the dirty work. He's kind of the garbage man out there that if you give him an inch, he'll get an offensive rebound. And if you're not careful, he'll get the foul and get 3 out of it. Coach Eves pulls out Nash Schroeder there. Sorry to cut you off, Caden, but it looks like he pulls out Nash there to give him a little bit of a breather. That fatigue that you mentioned, probably a factor there. He's probably going to give him a minute, maybe less, to catch his breath and help finish the game out.
And Devin Williams, triple team, kind of just goes down low with it, and the jump ball comes. It's going to stay on this side with Pineview. Now remember, possessions brought to you by Udi and Associates. Not a change of possession here necessarily, but
Good heads-up play by Coach Eves there. Interesting side note.
Yeah.
Coach Fairborn coached with Coach Eves at Pineview. I think when Coach Fairborn got his start in coaching and kind of rose up through the ranks there and moved over here when the new school opened under Casey Winters, and here he is, the head coach, looking to move to 4-1 in his first region season, saying to Casey Winters, this is how you do it.
Now, you've done coaching. You, of course, played as well. Do you have a preference between being on the court or being on the sideline?
I would much rather be on the court. And I think any coach
probably agrees.
If they had their way, they wish they could get out on the court and do it for the players sometime. But, you know, these guys are both kind of career-style coaches. I had a chance to coach with both of them once at Pineview and Coach Fairborn at Crimson when they first opened. And these are guys that care about the kids. You know, there's not a lot of glory. In fact, you get a lot of calls from the parents. You get a lot of calls from the fans. Everyone's saying you could have done this and that. And it's not like college or the pros where it's okay because you're going home and you're cashing your $1 million check.
Right.
Guys aren't getting the $1 million checks. They do it because they love the game. They love the development of a student athlete.
Pineview, it's Williams, tries to drive in. It's tipped away by Mick Willis. But Pineview retains possession. Long. Over to Watkins. Watkins up top, Shepard. Shepard drives inside. And a foul. Reaching in is Phoenix McWillis.
You know, I know it's kind of the offense of the day, the dribble handoff with the ball screen, but when I really liked what Pineview was doing in that first half is running guys off double screens, because a lot of these high school players don't know how to defend a double screen anymore. They just trail their guy, and if you come off and curl or flare. And so, you know, I like the dribble handoff, but man, I'd love to see a couple double away style screens to see if they can lose the Crimson defenders.
Kenyon Dickinson, haven't seen a lot from him offensively tonight. Nice little move for two. And a traveling call. Pineview starting to feel a little bit more momentum here.
Well, in just under a minute of Nash Schroeder sitting on the bench, they got him in, and I think you're going to see him for the extended 4:48 to see if they can make something happen here after a turnover in the press.
They get a little water in him and have him take a little seat on the bench. A little rest can do a lot of good. Dickinson drives in on Eaton, hands off to Watkins, goes up top, Schroeder. Schroeder cross court, Shepard, now Long. Back up top, Watkins. Dickinson to Schroeder. Schroeder puts the ball on the ground, pulls up for Long, two, and it's good. Schroeder has 10 in this quarter alone for 17 total.
He's got a great step back. He's really crafty with the ball. And what a great shot. You know, you'd like to see it maybe one step back, so it's a three-pointer.
Offensive board from Scoop Johnson in the putback.
My high school coach would say, look, anything on the three-point line is the worst shot in basketball. It's too far away to be a good two-pointer, and it's too close to be a three-pointer.
I can agree with that 100%. Stolen away by Long. Into the corner, it's Watkins. Watkins tipped away by McWillis. Ball on the ground. McWillis picks it up, and Long, trying to steal it away, will pick up the foul.
A lot of credit to Phoenix. He makes an ill-advised half-court pass and comes down. Instead of hanging his head and complaining, he comes down and he creates a turnover himself. I like to see that. You know, I hate to see a kid hang his head and not get back into the game. You're going to make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So it's what you do to solve them or to come back from them that makes a great player and, frankly, you know, a great person in life. We're all going to make mistakes.
Scoop Johnson takes the inbound. 3:34 left to play. 53-41. Scoop drives in off the glass, not there. It's rebounded by Houston. Johnson goes up with it, and good.
A different player tonight. If you're Coach Fairborn, you're going, okay, after the game, you're saying, Houston, this is what you're capable of. Playing within yourself, being aggressive, getting rebounds.
A jump ball is the call. Jordan Eaton gets a hand on it as Nash Schroeder tries to go up with it, and I like that call.
Yeah, again, I think the refs have actually called a very consistent game. They haven't called a ton of fouls, and they've called probably the same style of fouls.
Nash Schroeder trying to find somewhere to go with it. Has to kick out to Dickinson. Dickinson up top, Shepard. Shepard to Schroeder.
And this is what I'm talking about. A double away, something to kind of run somebody off the screen. Something to give them a little more space, because you can see Crimson's defense has really stepped up in the second half, especially in that third quarter.
Timeout taken by Crimson. They say, let's just slow it down. We got a good lead.
Yeah, 14-point lead, couple minutes left. Let's make sure that we finish this thing off. Good call there.
Across town with 27 seconds left to go. It's Dixie up 69 to Desert Hill 64.
Okay.
A tight matchup over there. A lot of timeouts taken here in the last few minutes of this game as they're trying to, Desert Hill's trying to just get a little bit closer. They've come within about 4, but can't really seem to punch it past that. So we'll keep an eye on that game. Again, those score updates brought to you by Nets on Fire. Nets on Fire is the premier training and event facility in Southern Utah. Cater to your athlete. Visit them at netsonfire.org.
And that's an interesting score, because I think they looked there in that second and third quarter like Dixie was going to pull away and make it a 20 to 22 point lead. And you got to give a lot of credit to Desert Hills. They play physical and they can shoot it, and they got back into that game.
Now coming out of our Cache Valley Bank timeout, I feel like we've kind of passed that Bose Auto Parts crucial part of the game. We talked about it at halftime, and it really was just kind of that third quarter. If Pineview could have stuck with it and played, like we say, play a full 4 quarters, that third quarter just was not there for them, and they've played well. It's an even scoring in the fourth quarter here, 12 apiece. That third quarter was just a little dead for the Panthers.
I think it's definitely our Bose Auto Parts crucial part of the game. One of those, maybe not a play, but certainly that third quarter was the difference maker.
Driving in off the glass and in is Scoop Johnson for 2. Quiet in the first half, but here in the second, he's already got 8. Timothy Long driving in baseline, nearly picked away by Barbin. Up top with it is Shepard. Shepard drives in on McWillis. It's stripped away and will stay down with Pineview.
And Griffin Shepard's asking the ref right now for the foul call. Kind of looked like a bump, but again, the refs just haven't called that style of foul. And I'm actually kind of a big fan of that. I like the way they've called the game. Hasn't been a foul fest. Of course, I am coming off some PTSD from Friday night when there were over 50 fouls called.
Yeah, that's fair. McWillis crosses court to Scoop Johnson. Scoop drives in on Dickinson. Down low, McWillis. He tries to get the dunk. We'll give it to him. We'll give him the dunk on that, shall we?
Let's give him the dunk on that.
We'll give him the dunk on that. And you know what that means? That means an hour of free jump time over at House of Jump. When you text the word dunk to 833-644-2423. Stolen away by the Mustangs. Barbin to the other side. To Scoop off the glass. Not there. Tipped. And Pineview takes it the other way. Schroeder, nothing there. Minute 15 left to play. Barbin on the right side goes back up top with it. Nearly a half-court violation, but they'll give the foul instead. The foul will go against number 13. That's Nash Schroeder, his third foul.
And it looks like we're to that part of the game where the reserves make their entry.
Yeah, a full 5-man swap going on here.
Probably see Coach Eves do the same thing as he looks over, scratching his head, thinking for a first half, we had them again.
Yeah, had them on the ropes for a first half. Timeout taken. We'll take a quick 30 seconds as we wrap this one up. Coming up after the break here on the Fan Sports Network. First Ace Hardware is conveniently located in St. George on the corner of Bluff Street and St. George Boulevard with 30,000 square feet of lawn and garden, paint, tools, fabrics, sporting goods, and the most complete nut and bolt section in town. First General Store, the Big Ace store on Bluff and on Main in Cedar City.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
It's 59-41 here at Crimson Cliffs High School. We thank you for joining us tonight for our Boulevard home game of the week. Region 10, very active. You can catch all these games over on the fansportsnetwork.com. Getting some new faces in. Boston Adamson and Noah Nelson now with the ball. Drives in. Not there. Gets down low. Adamson goes up top. It's Lindquist. Familiar face there, Ben.
Yeah, looks like the young buck number 4 was thinking he'd get his first varsity bucket there. Great pass by Boston Adamson, who seems to always be in those JV games around the ball. He's got another one of those football players that had a great year.
He was an aggressive receiver in football, and you see that transition to basketball. Some of that aggressive plays. He's picking up Schroeder on defense. Driving in is Weston Watkins with the layup for 2.
And this should wrap it up. I don't expect. Looks like Coach Fairborn saying,
don't worry about it. He's giving him the shake of the hand, saying,
please don't shoot it.
Just dribble it out. Don't be that guy.
Don't shoot it.
As much as you want to take this shot, don't do it, Noah. I love it. 59-43, Crimson gets the win over the Pineview Panthers, and they improve to only holding on to that one loss, but continue on getting to that other win in the win column. What are they now, 4-1, 5-1?
4-1 in region play through 5. I think probably exactly what you hope for. And then one loss against Snow Canyon. They didn't have Phoenix McWillis, who was sick, and certainly from an athletic and shooting standpoint, a difference maker for them.
Well, we will take a short break. When we come back, it's the Johnson Pediatrics post-game show. Stick around with us here on the Fan Sports Network. 1-minute break, and we'll be back after this. Region 10 Sports is brought to you by Nets on Fire, the premier training and event facility in Southern Utah. High-level individual and group training catered to your athlete, plus the best camps, clinics, tournaments, and showcases in the West. Visit netsonfire.org.
Asphalt. It's not something we think about much except when it's in bad shape. At Holbrook Asphalt, we help cities, HOAs, and businesses avoid replacing painfully expensive roads and parking lots. To avoid the cost of replacing asphalt, you must effectively preserve it while it's still in good condition. University research has shown Holbrook Asphalt's HA5 slows asphalt aging by 67%. We make your pavement assets last longer, cost less to own, all while achieving higher property values. Visit holbrookasphalt.com to discover more.
This cheesesteak is so freshly grilled, you can still hear it sizzling.
I can hear it too.
Me too.
Actually, it's the
Cheesesteak?
grill.
Grilled right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing.
Welcome into the Johnson Pediatrics Dentistry post-game show. See why so many parents choose Johnson's for the kids' dental needs. And you can call for that new patient special. The number, 656-0511. Final score, 59-43. Crimson Cliffs gets the win over Pineview. A lot of that off of the hand of Jordan Eaton, who scored 21. Houston Johnson with a good game as well with 16. Before we hop into those scores, let's get some of the scores from across the rest of Region 10. Dixie and Desert Hills finally wrapping up. Close one, 71-68. Good game over there.
Wow. Got to give a lot of credit to Desert Hills for clawing their way back into that game and making Dixie sweat a little bit there.
Yeah,
and it looks like Snow Canyon was able to wrap up. What's our final there, Caden?
69-42. The Warriors get the win over the Tigers. So
it looks like a couple of teams, Pineview and Hurricane, will stay winless in region play. That'll be an interesting game, Hurricane versus Pineview. There for that probably last spot in the region at this point.
Yeah, and Pineview, yes, they're a one-win team, but you see some streaks from them that they have some potential. They have a great scorer in Nash Schroeder. He put up 17. Griffin Shepard had 14, and even Griffin Shepard's 14 felt like a quiet 14. There's a lot of first half points, not a whole lot in the second half, but we're seeing what this Pineview team is made of, and they have their streaks.
Yeah, and really what it looks like is they're one player away from having some consistent scoring and success. But those guys, I think if you're a coach, you're saying, okay, guys, Nash, Griffin, we got to have you guys score 20 to 22 a game each. Like, we got to find a way to run the offense in a way that those two can go give them 40-plus points a game, because this year that might be the only way that they're able to really stay in 2 games.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm seeing from this team is those two guys have a lot of athleticism. They have some great scoring, but when you're the two that really kind of put the team on your back in a lot of these situations, again, in the fourth quarter, Nash Schroeder had 10, the rest of the team had 4, right?
And it should be noted, Nash and Griffin are both juniors. So,
and they'll be back.
Some youth there as well. They'll be back. Obviously, you like what you see going back for them next year. And from Crimson, they finished 4-1 going into a bye this Friday. They won't have a game. This will be their first bye. 4-1 in region play. I think if you're Coach Fairborn, you're pleased with that.
Yeah.
And with Dixie next week, that will be a real test to see where they're at. And of course, I think they'll look for their revenge on Snow Canyon when they see them in the second half of the region play.
Absolutely. Well, let's hop into our awards, shall we? One of my favorites is, of course, our Jersey Mike's sub of the game, who came off the bench and performed well. We look at some of the stats, and early on, I'd probably say it was Sean Feltz. He got involved early. We didn't see him in the second half, though. Not a lot of bench play in the second half from Crimson, but he's one that got involved fairly early. Some of your thoughts as well, Ben?
Yeah, I think he really is a form of instant offense, which you don't really say for a big guy very much. Usually you think of the three-point shot nowadays. But neither team really got much offensive production. But I think just by default of having those 4 critical points in the first half and having an impact there, we probably give it to him. Maybe Jay Sweeten for his defense.
Yeah, he definitely, I'd say both of those players almost played a good even game in different ways, right? And impacted the game in different ways.
When you look at Pineview and you look at the box score, they only have Adam Moore with the lone points off of the bench. And you said it. I think it ended up being very apropos. As the game wore on, and your keys to the game, as you mentioned, playing 4 quarters. As it got to that third quarter, that's where problems arose for Pineview. And so I look, going back to the Jersey Mike sub of the game, because now I'm looking at my clock going, man,
can I make it?
Thank you, Mr. Officials, for not having us go back in a back and forth free throw shootout. We got time to get to Jersey Mike's.
Absolutely.
And I would say Sean Feltz and Jay Sweeten for our duo of defense and firepower off the bench for the Crimson Mustangs.
I like it. Before we get to our Hearst Ace Hardware player of the game, let's talk play of the game. We had a few pretty decent ones. Again, it was a very light game of basketball. A lot of layups, a lot of mid-range jumpers. We did have one, and this goes over to the Pineview side. We had one Nash Schroeder about 5 feet behind the line, deep threes, and that's just a tough shot to make, especially when you're trying to bring your team back. And I like the shot. And he was feeling it. Why not take it? He took it. He hit it.
I like it. I would say a close second to that would be the Phoenix McWillis dump off of the pass from Scoop Johnson. Baseline. baby flush. I will give him a baby flush on that. That was an exciting play.
It was a good play. That's our Appliance Wholesaler Plus Playmaker Play of the Game. Appliance Wholesaler Plus are the playmakers in the appliance industry. You can find them off the Bloomington exit or by Modern
Pebble
Warrior.
Ice. They have the fridges over there now, I'm told, have Pebble Ice
makers
in them.
In your fridge.
In them.
Yeah.
Go talk to those guys, Shane Mortensen over there. Those guys are huge supporters of high school sports throughout the years. And he wasn't a bad player himself back in the day, back in the 90s, though.
He's a big sports guy.
Yep.
The best thing about it is appliances at wholesaler price.
Ooh.
That's what I like. Now, defensive play of the game brought to you by Morgan Pest Control. They've been defending your home against bugs, pests, rodents for over 60 years here in southern Utah. We had one really big block by Phoenix McWillis that I think has to go as our Morgan Pest Control defensive play of the game. It was in the second quarter, I believe, and it really gave some momentum to Crimson that I feel like they took with them into halftime as well.
Well, kind of a 4-point play, because if you recall, Phoenix gets that block, goes down quickly in transition, and Jordan Eaton gets the layup for that quick 4. So I definitely think what a great play, and really 2 in a row for him. He had the one last Wednesday as well against Desert Hills.
Yeah, it's a great nomination to have anytime you get those defensive plays in. And again, Phoenix McWillis is a strong defender. He gets down and he plays hard. So I like to see what he does on the defensive side. Now, as we head into our Hearst Ace Hardware Player of the Game, I feel like it's just got to go towards Jordan Eaton. It feels like that, right? But the but comes out. Have we seen this good of a game from Houston Johnson?
I've watched him for 2 years. That's as good as I've seen him play from first quarter through fourth quarter. He never let up, had some great finishes. If you recall, there were a couple of those buckets in transition where he went baseline, finished it up, got the bucket as Pineview was trying to create something. So I think from an all-around effort and game and maybe his most aggressive output on offense, I think you give it to Houston Johnson.
Yeah. Again, it's easy to say your top scorer, 21 points, Jordan Eaton, but Houston Johnson did things that we don't see too much from him, and he just played aggressive. You could see it in his face when he got the ball, and he says, I know I have a size advantage against these guys. Give me the ball. I'm going to make something happen. And he did quite often make something happen. He had a lot of putbacks as well on offensive boards, and that's exactly what you want to see out of your big guy. So well, Houston Johnson.
What's interesting to me is looking down at the box sheet and seeing as the game wore on, Jordan and Houston got stronger.
Yeah, they got better.
They combined for 6 in the first quarter, 9 in the second quarter, 12 in the third quarter, and 10 in the fourth quarter. I mean, as Coach Fairborn probably reviews film, he's looking in there going, okay, how can we get that out of both of those guys? Because you pretty much plan on Jordan. He's been pretty consistent in that area, but if you can get a guy like Houston to give you that level of consistency and output, you got to be pleased.
Absolutely. So Houston Johnson, the Hearst Ace Hardware Player of the Game. Hearst Ace Hardware, the Big Ace store on the corner of Boulevard and Bluff in St. George. That about wraps it up for us. We thank you for joining us on the broadcast here tonight. Our next broadcast Friday night. We'll have a couple of Region 10 matchups here on the Fan Sports Network. Head on over to thefansportsnetwork.com. Click on that Region 10 tab where you can get all of your games in one place. So until then, I'm Caden Formaster, Ben Lindquist, and of course our crew here from Crimson Cliffs High School with Dusty. Dusty, what's your last name?
Allen.
Dusty Allen. I forgot your last name for a second.
Look, we got Gage as the accountant, and we have the DA.
That's
the
right.
District Attorney, Dustin Allen, in the production truck, making us look good, getting all the angles.
Yep. And your crew on the cameras tonight as well. We appreciate.
It's like we got Braxton. Who else do we have? Jace. Yeah, okay, all right.
Very good.
Great crew. I mean, what an incredible broadcast we're able to put together for fans that aren't able to make it here, out of town, at home. What a great way to showcase high school sports.
Absolutely. Thank you again for joining us here on the Fan Sports Network. We'll be back with you again on Friday night for some more Region 10 basketball. And we are out until then. Thank you again for joining us on the Fan Sports Network.